Okay, everyone. So I'm going to show you how to style different parts of your website differently using IDs and classes. And you may have seen this before or you may not have. It's okay if you haven't. I'm going to show you how to do it today. So just to explain, this is the web page that we're going to be working with. And I use something called Lorem Ipsum in order to fill in the paragraphs, to create paragraphs. Lorem Ipsum is Lorem Ipsum is it's Latin. They're Latin words, and it just is dummy text. So it's dummy text used in laying out print, graphic, or web design. It's attributed to somebody in the 15th century. So it's just a way to like kind of add text to a page that doesn't mean anything. So it's like kind of fills out the page so you can style it, but I don't want to actually write text in there. I don't want to take the time to write something in. So we're just going to be focusing on the design today, not the text itself. So traditionally Lorem Ipsum is in Latin, right? This is Lorem Ipsum right here. But I used I searched the weirdest Lorem Ipsum like generators, and these are just like ways of getting a bunch of dummy text that has to do with a certain category. So like hipstrum is like Lorem Ipsum with hipster words. I use pirate ipsum, cupcake, and cheese in hipstrum. So like cupcake is like all the words that you could associate with cupcakes and so on. So they have these websites that just generate this dummy text for you, and you're going to use this later on. But it's just like, again, it just generates like some text that has to do with a certain category of things. And it just fills out our page so that we can style it without having to like add actual words to it. Or I mean, we are adding words to it, but we're not like thinking about the words we're adding to it. Okay, so we're going to be, like I said, focusing, we're going to be adding some things to the CSS and then, adding things to the HTML and then doing things with the CSS. So here, I'm going to collapse this to make it a little bit easier for you to see. So a way of um, styling things independently of each other. So let's say that I have all of these things here. And let's say that for each of these tags, pirate, cupcake, cheese, and hipstrum, I want them to have different colors. Okay, so they are all in an H2 tag. So one way I could style it is I could go into the CSS and take out my H2 and say color, and we're just going to focus on color today, and I could just grab one of these colors, right? So here I have the color of all of my H2s turn to the color that I just chose. But the problem is like, what if I wanted the pirate to be different colored than the cupcake and then different color than the cheese? What if I wanted them to be all different colors? Well, in that case, you wouldn't style the main tag here. What you would do instead is you'd add an additional attribute onto the heading tag. So I'm going to click into the opening tag, and I'm going to put a space in, and I'm going to give it an additional name. So I'm going to go ID equals quote, and for this one I'm going to call it pirate. Okay. So here we have pirate, and then in the CSS, instead of styling out the H2, I'm going to take out the H2 here. And the way you style IDs are, you don't just say pirate, but you say hashtag pirate, and that tells the browser that you're looking for an ID that says pirate. Okay, so if I refresh this, only the pirate ipsum is that color. Okay, so you're just going to go in and add the IDs here. So I'll do one more for you, and then I'll show you how to style it. So I can add, again, you click into the opening tag, you put a space between the H2, and you put a word that's associated with it. Okay, now you don't want to put two words in here with a space in there. So you don't want to go like cupcake ipsum, because what you've done in this situation is you've actually created two IDs. You've created the ID of cupcake and the ID of ipsum because you put a space in between them. Because you can add multiple IDs in there. Okay, you could style them all out differently. But in this case, you just want to use one word to describe it. Or if you have to use two words, smash them together and put a capital letter on the second word, the beginning of the second word. But we're just going to keep it simple and put one word in here. Okay, so and then I could style it out with this. Whoops. Okay, and then I want to say color. I want to add a color here. Okay, so cornflower blue. All right. And then when I refresh this, notice I'm not using the preview window because it's not super helpful for me. All right, so this creates the two tags right here. So those are different. So you're going to go in and you're going to make the IDs for cheese and hipstrom. Okay, that's something that you need to do. The other nice useful thing about having an ID in here is you can actually make anchor tags on the same page. I can make this actually be a link that jumps down to the pirate ipsum section. So here, what I have done at the very top of the page is I've added a paragraph, and in the paragraph I've added anchor tags. Okay, so what you're going to do inside the anchor tags is you're going to open up the anchor tag and add your hypertext reference. So put a space here and you're going to go href equals, and you are going to use hashtag pirate. And when you do that, look at what happens here. Okay, so this becomes this becomes a way to jump down to the pirate ipsum. Okay. So you'll notice here that as I look in my preview window, when I hit run, I click on this, pirate ipsum goes to the very top of my page. Okay, and I'll do this and so in the anchor tags, let's do it for cupcake because I know I've added that ID in there. So click into the opening anchor tag and go space href equals quote cupcake, like that. Oops, oh god, I keep spelling things wrong. Cupcake. And because I've already added the ID of cupcake in here, this becomes a link because I've added the href, and it actually will jump. It will jump down to. Sometimes it does that in the preview window, guys. I don't really know why. So, oh, maybe I've spelled it wrong. That's the other thing. Oh, I haven't put a hashtag in it. That's why. Okay, sorry. So here, let's see. That will jump down to cupcake. Okay, so your goal is going to be adding the IDs onto the cheese and the hipstrom, and then you're actually going to add some more, and I'll explain that in a second. You're going to add some more links at the bottom. Okay, the other thing I wanted to show you was class. Okay, so when you have a class, ID is only allowed to be used a single time. So I can only have ID equals pirate appear once in my HTML document. Now a class is allowed to be used multiple times. All right. So let's say that I want to style the paragraph text out for the odd paragraphs the same, and then the even paragraphs the same. Okay. So the pirate is going to be an odd paragraph. So I'm going to click into paragraph, put a space, and say class equals odd, like that. Okay. And in the cupcake, I'll go class equals even. Now in the CSS, I want to style out class, and the way you style out class is a little different than ID, where you say a period. You say period odd, and let me add a color here. Let me just choose from this list of colors here, so dark salmon. And then let's go dot even here, and then I'm going to add a color here. Okay, so let me add a color of Indian red. This doesn't seem very politically correct to use Indian unless you're speaking of the Asian country. So here we have pirate. So we have this paragraph have a different color than this paragraph. Now your goal is going to be to add, and let me add one more so that you can see it. So if you went to cheese ipsum and you said, okay, that's the third paragraph, so I'm going to go class equals odd right there, and I refreshed it, then this one becomes the same as this one. Okay. So the first one and the third one is going to be the same. So what I need you to do is I need you to add the class onto hipstrom. That's going to be the class of even, so that it has the same color here. And you guys could be using different colors than me. Like, you don't have to be using the same colors as me. So in order to finish this assignment, you need to add the IDs onto the heading tags for cheese and hipstrom. You need to add the classes onto the paragraph tags, and you need to add the links up here. In addition to that, I want you to add 3 more paragraphs, okay? so you can use, I'm going to give you the link to this like Ipsum website, so you can go in and make your own Ipsum. So like let's look at this one right here. This is okay, there's the pirate Ipsum. Let's see, where are the links in this? Oh, they're right underneath the pictures right here. This small link, so it doesn't work well. So you can say, okay, you just want to generate 3 paragraphs because you're just going to use one. So here is some of the paragraphs. Just choose something really small. Like, so you can grab this, copy it, and if you wanted to use this Ipsum, you'd do an H2 and you'd call it Office Ipsum this, and then you'd use a paragraph tag to add that there. All right, and then close that off, and then up here you will need to add the link for, so here are your anchor tags. Copy this right here, paste it below, and add the link to Office Ipsum. Okay, and then you can add an emoji if you want, but you don't need to. All right, and then you're going to style it. So I'll put a list of the things, and you're going to style it the same word. This the top needs to have a class in it, and you can style the paragraph along with. So this would be what 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th paragraph. So this would be an odd paragraph. So you're going to put a class of odd on this paragraph, and then you're going to put an ID of whatever you're using. Like I would put an ID of office for this one. Okay, so I will outline all the details of this assignment in a separate document so that you know what I'm talking about, but that's how you finish this practice day. Okay, have fun.